Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you my watercolor portrait that I made for the Artsy Second Sunday video hop. This will be coming out as a premiere, and I hope that you're joining me during the premiere. But if you're not, you can always watch it later, and you can go down below the video and click all through all the participants that are joining us offering free content this month for you. So the Artsy Second Sunday video hop is hosted by Martha from Ayala Art, and she also has in the month of February, this is February 2022, just in case you're watching in the future, she has 29 faces during the month of February. 28 faces, 29 faces. And so I figured that I would make a face today. Also, there are themes. People are doing hearts, shamrocks, four-leaf clovers. I'm not sure what else. I can't remember what else there was, but I decided to do four-leaf clovers or shamrocks. Trying to do a theme 1 month ahead so that if you wanted to do something like this, you could for March, which is when St. Patrick's Day is. So, all that being said, I decided to do a watercolor. I'm involved in so many things, guys. I have a group with Peg Robinson, and we have monthly themes. It's a art sharing community over on Facebook, and our theme this month is watercolors. So I figured I would stick with watercolors because of Art Joy Sharing. I would do shamrocks and faces because of Martha from Ayala Art and Artsy Second Sunday. You can also always search the hashtag Artsy Second Sunday if you want to find art from this month or previous months or even the previous year, because we did it all year last year too. So starting out, I cut down a piece of hot press watercolor paper into 6x6. I didn't want to make anything too big because of the time restraint. This needs to be 15 minutes or less. And I was trying to think of portrait, something that looks different than what I normally do on a portrait. And I saw this art by Marin Devine. You can find her at www.marindevineart.com. And she's also on Etsy. She sells prints of her originals. She probably sells originals too. I didn't research that much. But I decided to do my portrait somewhat in her style. She's a mixed media artist. She uses acrylic and other things, not watercolor. Well, maybe she does use some watercolor. She might mix it in. But I thought her kind of angular style of doing faces was interesting, with the really flat eyes and almost, not drawing in the nostrils and just a basic face that's quite angular. So I decided to do it in that style. Doesn't look exactly like hers, but it was inspired by things that I saw on Pinterest that she had painted. So if you're interested in this style, you might want to go look at her stuff. She has warrior women and lots of interesting mixed media portraits. So I'm using a few different palettes. I've got the complexion palette from Prima that has colors of skins in it, which I thought was useful for doing a portrait. I also have my shadow. It's Japanese ink mixed in with colors. Shadow palette. I got that from St. Louis Art Supply. I've got that one out for darks. I've got my Kuretake Starry colors, which you'll see me using at the end. And then I have my mixed palette, which has some Daniel Smith, some, I don't know, a bunch of different like higher end. There's some Soho types of paints in it that's just mixed. It's just a bunch of different tubes that I had that I put all into one palette. So I can't really give you any links to that, but I can give you links to the other 3 palettes I used. I have a number 8 Princeton round brush And then I have a wash brush from Royal and Langnickel, a flat wash brush that you saw me at the very beginning. I did a wash in the background with kind of a teal color and then a darker blue teal color by applying just water with that big fat juicy brush and then dropping in the color. So all the rest of the painting I did with this number 8 Princeton round. I think it's probably artificial red sable. It's a really nice watercolor brush. I do keep my watercolor brushes separate from my acrylic brushes. These brushes never go in acrylic because even though you wash them out and you condition them or whatever, they still will never go back to being quite as soft and thirsty as they were when they were just for watercolors. So I keep them in a different thing on my desk. And I have quite a few different ones, but I tend to go towards this number 8 quite a bit. This number 8 round. It has a really fine tip on it, and and the ferrule is fat enough to hold a lot of water, which is what you want with a watercolor brush. So I started painting. The only thing I'm using from the dark palette is the one that's called green, and it's basically green watercolor mixed with Japanese sumi black ink to give it this really dark tone. I used that one, and then I used the different tones of skin from this Prima complexion set. Has everything that you would possibly need to make any skin tone that you can imagine. And I kind of blocked out areas of shadow and areas of light. And then I used the pinkish tone, which I think is called lemonade, strangely enough. Must be pink lemonade, on the cheeks. And then all the rest of the colors I used were from this larger palette. There's some different. The first color I used in the background was, I know, phthalo green, and then I used some darker teal from the Soho company. This one up at the top is I can't remember the name of it. But I'm using greens, I'm using blues that have a green tone, and then I'm balancing that with orangey warm tones. So if you look at your color wheel, you see that green and orange are across from each other. So in the hair, I wanted to have a lot of interest. I think she has curly hair and she kind of has it up. And there's kind of a little headband situation to keep it back off of her face. And then she's just surrounded by these shamrocks. Most of them have 4 leaves, some of them have 3 leaves. Shamrock plant usually only has 3 leaves, so if you were to find a 4-leaf one, that's supposed to be super lucky, and you will be blessed with something in your life that's really, really lucky. I used some magenta and then later some red on her lips to really make them stand out from the rest of it. I don't know. This is basic painting. I'm not trying to make it super watery. I'm painting more as if I was painting with acrylic because, I'm not exactly a watercolor artist. But this is 100% watercolor paint. I didn't use any other media. I didn't use any pencils, pens, any acrylic paint. I didn't use anything like that. So it is 100% a watercolor. When I put that darker red on her lips, I thought I would add a little bit of detail to her hair with little dots using that same color. It's a red scarlet. So then I thought I would use my Kuretake Starry colors, and these are shimmery. They have mica in them. I thought it would be fun to use those over the top as a glaze and make everything kind of shimmery. And it's hard to see on the video what I'm doing, what I'm adding. But I'm adding this shimmery color everywhere, and then when it's tilted in the light, which the picture at the very beginning and some of these pictures that are coming up at the end, you'll be able to see the shimmer. This palette is really fun. It has everything from like an opal pearl and then some lighter golds and darker golds down to a bronze in these shimmery metallic paints. A lot of fun. And I will link that one as well as these other two down below the video so that if you want to pick up some of these watercolors for this watercolor month like we're having over in Art Joy of Sharing, you can. It's fun to have a lot of different options. My newest and silliest obsession, because I'm not a watercolor artist, is I've been collecting more higher end expensive watercolors and handmade watercolors, because I see these little palettes and they're just, like tiny little palettes of a certain whatever family, and I'm like, oh, I have to have it. I just have to have it. So I'll be using them all this month. So be sure to come back to my channel and see all the different palettes that I'm playing with. Now that I feel better, I did not feel well there for a couple weeks. I couldn't really do much of anything, but better now and having fun with all these different watercolors. So I decided to add in some more Shamrocks around after my original set of them, because I just felt like it needed to be all over the place since that was the theme for this month. So I used the really dark green. I used a medium green, and then this one that I'm using right now is called Serpentine, and it has actual ground up gems in it, which is kind of fun. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below, subscribe if you haven't already, and also you can join my membership for $1.99 a month for exclusive content that comes out on the 15th of every month, and that's kind of fun. If you want to do that, there's a little join button. Also, be sure to hop through the rest of the fantastic free videos that everyone has made for you this month, featuring hearts and shamrocks and I don't know what else, but I'm sure there'll be something. I imagine there'll be a lot of hearts. I was tempted to make a heart, but then I thought, well, everyone will make hearts. So I moved on to the next following month. So I did use, I did have this taped down to make a frame, and I did use the heat tool to dry it a couple times, as well as remove the tape. So that worked out for me this time. Here comes your close-ups, and thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.